Okay, so let's get going. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining the session today. So before we proceed, let me quickly introduce myself. So my name is Kedar Sathe. I've been working in the HCM industry, the human capital management industry, for the past 20 years, slightly more than 20 years. And I've been doing a lot of roles. It's in consulting, it's in delivery. I've done a bit of quality assurance, testing, release management in the BAU world. So all of it is really HCM. I've been working for Dayforce, as I said, for the last 10 years now. Before that, it was another 10 years with Aon Hewitt, and then 3 years with IDEA. So that's about my experience, the professional experience in a way. I am a certified PMP myself. I have completed that back in 2015, so I've been certified for quite some time. I've done 3 rounds of renewals after that, and then I've been doing the workshops, trainings, coaching for the last 3.5 years now. So give and take, I've trained about 300 plus professionals. Along with that, I'm also kind of involved in some of the other project management related activities here in Mauritius. I was a part of the advisory board for a couple of MBAs which Open University had devised. So one was MBA in project management, and then the latest one, which is actually going to come out later this year, is the MBA in AI. So a lot of stuff happening in Open University. So a couple of ground rules. If you have any questions, feel free to share those questions in the chat that we have. I'm sure you will have a lot of questions. If you are okay, you might want to raise your hand. I can unmute you, and then you can ask that question as well. So it's up to you how you want to share it with the group, but do make sure to have your questions clarified, because I'll also get a lot of leads based on what questions you ask. Okay, so let's get going. So here's the agenda for today. So we're going to look at 2 or 3 things, not too much of information, but we will stick to what's happening with the PMBOK version 8. As you all know that PMI has introduced or officially introduced the project management body of knowledge version 8 since the last few weeks. And then the new trainings which are going to be effective, and the subsequent exam changes that are also happening from 1st of July or beginning of July in a way. So we'll also spend some time talking about that. We'll also take a look at what exactly is changing in terms of the body of knowledge, what additional things are coming up. Are there any significant changes? If there are, then what are those changes? We'll spend some time on that. We'll also take a look at what happens as a result of the PMBOK 8 changes in the exam world. So how the new examination pattern is going to look like, which is again effective, as I said, from July of 2026. And again, how all of these things will help all of us from a professional career perspective. So we'll take a look at that, and then if there's any questions, feel free to ask your questions right away, or if you want to, have it at the end of the webinar, that's also fine. So yeah, let's get going. So I did go through the body of knowledge version 8, and some of the things that I could easily identify based on what we have seen in the version 7 and before, and what is there or in the upcoming or the current version. One is it is very detailed version of what we will see from a day-to-day application of the project management concepts, if I have to say that. And it is in a very, very basic language, a layman's language, as we call. So anyone who has project management experience, or even for somebody who doesn't have any experience of sorts, then that is also going to be equally beneficial for that group. So that is probably the biggest change that I have seen. Um, they've actually gone away from a lot of complex way of explaining a concept. So it's very simple, it's very detailed, and as I said, they have done a great job in explaining it to somebody who has got absolutely no background of project management. Uh, the other change I've seen is not really a change, but it's more of a concentrated emphasis of what we have uh, for value delivery in a way. If you have any background of project management, or if you have attended any of the sessions, then the general mindset change that they are trying to induce is a lot of it is value delivery. And when we talk about value delivery, it is not just for the project manager or the team that is working on the project. Value delivery actually operates at three levels. One is for the organization that is working on the project. Second is the organization for which the project is being implemented, as we call it, the implementing organization. And then there is value for the project team itself, like why or what will they get out of working on the project. So there's value which is going to be delivered at different stages for different types of audience. So there's a lot of emphasis on value delivery. The big change I have seen is what was introduced as a new concept in maybe version 6 or 7 is now a full-fledged way of thinking forward. And what I'm also definitely excited to see is how they induce this change of mindset, a shift of mindset from just talking about scope, time, cost, or our success criterias in a way. Go away from that. Well, go away as in not move away, or you don't um, miss out on any of those things, but the whole attention is now on, yes, we are going to meet our scope, our time, our cost, but apart from that, are we also able to meet the objectives of why a particular organization is doing the work, or why they are implementing a certain project? So that value emphasis is going to be in a lot more detail and pretty much consistently throughout the body of knowledge. uh, Now, again, when we talk about a value delivery, there's also different mindsets which PMI is trying to implement. One, obviously, is this value mindset itself that we talked about. Second is the growth mindset, the change mindset, and then how all of these things together come together in order to successfully implement a project. So the shift of mindset in a way is being now started to deliberately operate at various levels, and that to me is a big change, because when you start looking at a project in terms of the value proposition, which I said operates at three levels, then our objective, our perspective at looking at value delivery. Um, there's a lot more. I would say a detailing that happens on projects, and how we are able to, or how we should be relating projects and our work in general at a global level. They've also tried to introduce certain examples in a way within the body of knowledge itself. So it's not just about a particular concept and how it will be applied, but a concept, its application, and what we actually saw in the real world. So it again kind of goes to the next level. They have given us some examples which you will see. I'm sure if you have the access to the body of knowledge 8, then it might be a good read to just go through it and look at how it's going to or impact the audience that is going to work on the projects. Again, the whole mindset that I talked about, and then obviously the holistic view. So when we are operating on projects as a project manager, then yes, we will be taking a deep dive in all the details on a day-to-day basis when we are doing reporting for our management. But the idea is to not miss out on the holistic view at any given point of time. which is then obviously going to benefit not just our organization, but even the customer organization in a way. So uh, there's a lot of continuity that we have seen between 7 and 8, but yeah, I mean the continuity is definitely leading us into the right stage, and that will help us as professionals in a way in the long run. And that to me is a big advantage, because when you consolidate all of these add-ons in a way, it's not only going to help us implement projects successfully, but it is also going to be a massive help for us as working professionals. So when we do an introspective of where we want to shift or change our careers or move on with our careers, I think that to me is going to be a big takeaway for us as professionals, because suddenly from, as I said, making sure that we hit our scope, time, cost, and then we align ourselves to a value delivery system, which then has a direct impact on the business. Then suddenly our way of looking at things change, and as soon as we are able to contribute significantly to the objectives of our business, then that also benefits us directly, indirectly, through the different opportunities, through the different work, the projects that we will be getting, and then all of us starts to line up in the right direction. So that's essentially how it's been structured, and that to me is a great way of introducing something new, which is in the form of body of knowledge of 8 version 8. Uh, Apart from that, there's also two new additions that are there in the version 8, and that again is no surprises. One is artificial intelligence, and second is sustainability. So there's a lot of heavy referencing, I would say, for both artificial intelligence, AI, and sustainability. Um, if you're not aware, but PMI has introduced a certification in artificial intelligence itself. They're calling it as PMCI, Project Management in Cognitive Artificial Intelligence. So I think they're also trying to, establish a foundation in the body of knowledge 8, and then from there you can pick it up and successfully take off the next AI certification. So it's not only restricted to just a PMP or handful of certifications, but the idea is to really take it to the next level. So there is a reference of AI sustainability, and it's a consistent referencing that you will have, particularly for sustainability. If you look at the description, uh, there are multiple references when it comes to sustainability, where they're talking about not only people and profit, but they've also introduced the third P in this scheme of things, which is the planet, which means that uh, PMI in general is also making a conscious attempt to uh, not only have sustainability as one of the project objectives, but they're also thinking at a global level in order to make sure that whatever work we are doing, or the kind of activities that we are doing on our projects, definitely is not going to harm the planet in any possible way. So they've also introduced the sustainability pyramid in the body of knowledge 8. And then obviously they take a deep dive into sustainability. But if you look at some of the challenges that they are trying to address, climate change, biodiversity, social inequities, community well-being. So they are clearly looking above and beyond the standard set of things that we generally do not look at when we are working on our projects, because it's almost like asking a question to ourselves: is when was the last time we thought about our planet when we were working on our project objectives? And to me, the answer is actually going to be not a yes, but it's going to be no, because we have not been tuned in that fashion to work and operate. So I think that is also a good change which they have introduced. and definitely this is also going to help us in the long run. So the triple bottom line, people, profit, and planet is one reference that you will see pretty much consistently throughout the the body of knowledge. And there's also a lot of focus on ESG type of goals, so environmental, social, and governance type of goals. So all of these things put together is going to create a massive advantage from a sustainability perspective. And I think it is important for us because although there is a lot of political instability at the moment as we speak, but when we are looking at probably the next 50, 80, 100 years, then sustainability is going to be the most important thing, because we are already aware of the different types of challenges that we have in front of us. Be it climate change, be it the the global sea levels that are rising. We are soon approaching the 1.5 degree climate change temperature range that we have been set. So which we have, by the way, already crossed, and we are already at a point of no return. So the question to be asked is not if we will go there. We are definitely going there. It's just the how much of delay that we can introduce between now and the point we reach there. So all of these things uh, have been considered by PMI, and thankfully they have done it in the version 8 itself. So a lot of new projects that are being worked, be it construction, be it environment, be it biodiversity type of projects. So all of these activities will definitely look at all the challenges that are standing in front of us. So on one side, it's artificial intelligence, and when PMI is talking about artificial intelligence in today's world, or the use of AI in today's world, they're not restricting themselves only to, let's say, a large language modeling, or the different types of prompt engineering that we use in our day-to-day activities, but it's also about how do we ensure the data privacy, the ethical use of AI in a way, and then how it will be advantage project management with the help of different AI tools and techniques that we have. So again, this is one of that area where or one of those areas where PMI is expecting us to make use of all the available tools, the data references, the data reference points that we have, and then apply those in our project management activities to make sure that our timelines are met, we are well within our budget, and obviously we hit our goals in a way. So these are the two new additions that PMI has introduced. Um, Now, again, when it says sustainability and integration within all areas, it's not just restricted to let's say an initiation or a planning, or at those focus area group level, but even it could also come down to introducing training related activities for effective use of AI tools, even to the team members or stakeholders that are working on these project activities. So the way in which we are going to implement, keep on improving better ourselves as we move ahead, and then take back that data and process it, and again reuse that those decision making capabilities of the AI tool. I think that's what they are trying to do. So for all of you who are the PMI members, I'm sure you must have used the Infinity tool, which is the Chat GPT equivalent uh, of the tool in the PMI world. So if you haven't used it, it's again a great tool for interacting with the PMI's database of project management. It is not as evolved as a chat gpt or any other relevant tools, but I mean it's getting there. I mean, if you want to make use of this GPT for your benefit, then I think it is definitely evolved to that level where you can ask the right questions and then try and extract information from them. At the end of the day, this is not a Google search engine. That's what we need to remember. So you will be required to make use of the right prompts in order to extract the right information, and then see what's sitting in the database. So those are the two new additions in a way. Now, having said that, although the PMBOK 8 introduces AI and sustainability, and again, some of the other takeaways, how do we make the right use of it ethically, and then without in kind of moving into somebody's private space. But uh, the thing that you need to remember is it is not just restricted to one or two certifications, because the body of knowledge is pretty much open for all the certifications that we have, and it is really a benchmark that we use in terms of the concepts that PMI has created, revamped, reused in multiple ways, but it's open across all the certifications. So when I say an AI or in a sustainability, if you go into certain certifications, CI for example, construction or CP, sorry, CP certification, and if you look for sustainability, you will you will be bound to see a lot of um underlining concepts of sustainability used in construction, because that's where it is going to be used the most. If you move into the technology world, then obviously it's going to be heavy AI and some aspects of sustainability. So as your audience and the type of projects change, the various angles, the different perspectives of systems like AI, like sustainability, there are again there could be separate certifications in a way just for sustainability, which might be outside of PMI, for example. But again, that doesn't stop you as a professional from even going and doing maybe a lead certified a project in at the end of it. So it is not just restricting us to implement this in the project management world, but it could be a combination between a project management, or if it's any other certification. So that integration possibility has also been explored on the body of knowledge version 8. So those are the new things to watch out for. If anyone is actually interested in reading, just go and download your copy and take a read. It's pretty interesting, especially the sustainability portion on the body of knowledge. Let me take a pause and see if there are any questions. Okay, there's a new certification, PMI, Certified Professional in Managing AI. Is that a separate certification or incorporated in the new PMBOK? Yeah. So the answer to that question is it is a new certification, but as I said, the body of knowledge 8 is a reference to all the certification, not just PMP or CP or CPMAI. It is a reference for all the certifications, because it is a body of knowledge from a project management concept perspective. So the same body of knowledge will be applicable to multiple certifications. And the original question, yes, it's a pretty new certification which has been introduced by PMI. Okay, moving on. So as you might have guessed, where I'm actually trying to take you with all of these discussions, or the references that we have in the new version of the body of knowledge, clearly it's an advantage for our own careers, because at the end of the day, if we are not able to utilize it for our benefit, then what is the use of studying it and implementing it and consistently making use of all these concepts in our day-to-day activities. So let's look at how it is going to help us through. Uh, as as we are sailing through a lot of vulnerable times and moments, right, as we speak, AI is definitely a challenge. It's an opportunity at the same time. Now, whichever way you look at it, you should be able to take away from AI. But the other challenges that we have in today's world is the whole VUCA world. There's the big gig economy, which is in front of us. For those of you who don't know what gig is basically into running into an economy where everything is on an on-demand kind of a basis. So when we talk about gig economy, we are very soon going away from the concept of a full-time job, which means that we might not have a full-time employment as we have today. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen tomorrow, but in the long run, maybe the next 10, 15, 20, 25 years, the gig economy is already here, but that is going to dominate the workforce, the way the workforce is being run at the moment. So essentially, it's we have a project, you have the skill set, you come work for us, we'll pay you for that moment, and that is it. And then you move on to the next project. So that is what the gig economy means. But while we work through that, the way our minds are tuned right now is we have always been used to the concept of either you're working for somebody or you're working for your own self. So if you're working for somebody, then it's essentially a full-time job concept that we have at the moment. But in the last 4 or 5 years, or post COVID especially, the concept of full-time employment has been heard big time. So most or a lot of organizations have started to move towards the gig world, as they say. So that is going to be a big challenge as we move ahead. AI is obviously there, as I said. So um, as long as you are able to make use of AI and get it benefited to your project, to oneself, then that's going to be the silver lining. But if you're not able to cope up with the way in which AI is progressing and the way we are operating, then obviously the gap is going to widen, or there's a risk that you will not be able to catch up, and then obviously the other challenges of job loss and all of those things come in. And then obviously the VUCA world, we've uh, the last few weeks, I would say, is a classic example of what could happen in the VUCA world. And then there's a lot of instability, political instability. There's a lot of tentativeness. There's a lot of ambiguity on what's going to happen next. If you've seen the last few weeks, I would say, since the war between Iran and the US have started, and then the kind of fluctuations that we have seen in the stock market and global economies, that's exactly what happens in the VUCA world. So this is just one instance, and then who knows what's lined up in future. But why we need to be aware of all these things is definitely going to help us survive in these kind of testing and challenging periods going ahead. So that's the whole objective. Uh, the way it's going to help us is because the way a certified PMP, for example, is expected to operate, that is going to add value to the business, to the organization, to the people that are working on the project team. So I often say this on my training sessions, that if you have a belief that the moment you become a PMP certified is going to translate into your next promotion, if you have that kind of a belief, please remove it, because that is not happening. The way the cycle operates is you have a certification like a PMP, like a PMCMI, or an ACP or CAPM, whichever certification you're going to take from PMI. You will first have to demonstrate the knowledge application of that particular certification. You will have to consistently add value to your business, to your organization, to your customers, and then part of that value is routed through opportunities, through promotions, to salary hikes, and that's how the whole ecosystem works. So just getting the certification is not going to help you reach your destination or whatever objectives you have. But at the end of the day, you need to demonstrate that the knowledge you have acquired, you first need to apply it to your day-to-day activities, consistently apply it, and then some of those benefits will come to you. So that's how you know the whole system works. The other big advantage, as I said, in the gig economy is it continuously gives you an opportunity to upskill yourself. So be it PMBOK Body 8, or even the PMBOK version 8, or even the seventh version, where a lot of changes happened over the last 2 3 years. But the standalone thing is we need all of these things to upskill ourselves. Um what do we really mean by upskill is you get that knowledge, you do things differently, and then you stand out in the group, and then that's how you build a USP for yourself. So when all of these things in a combined fashion start operating together, again, the consistency is going to be the key aspect, and then obviously you get the value add. But the starting point really is you will have to enroll, go through it, make an effort. If you are attempting a certification exam, then pass that exam, apply that knowledge, and then the journey is kind of going to be even more interesting. So yes, there is a definite advantage for our careers, but it is not going to be something like you do it, you do it, or you apply the knowledge for few months here and there, here and there, and then you're done with it. So that's not the case. So it's going to be a consistent application of whatever knowledge you have assimilated, captured, gathered, and then you apply it, and then you take the benefits out of it. So but the way I see is, if you look at the new structure in which the PMBOK body, or the version 8, I'm sorry, I'm keep saying this as body, but the PMBOK version 8 is being structured. It's heavily directed for us to think more at a business level, at an organization level. So that also changes the way in which we think about projects, because as long as you're not able to translate the output of any project that you're working, and align it with the business objectives, the organization objectives, you will never be able to cross the finish line. Because the reason any organization is going to pick up a project or undertake a project is because it is going to be aligned to some of the, or one or more strategic objectives that the organization has set itself for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So that is how the organizations operate. And if you are able to crack the way in which the businesses think, and then align your way of thinking to the way this thinking goes on, I think that's where you will be able to encash and take advantage of all the benefits which are out there. So uh, going through these body of knowledge type documentation, or even attempting a certification, is really the starting point. What happens after that is the real game changing situation, and that is what we need to encash for our respective careers. Okay, so I'm just doing a time check. We're exactly at the halfway mark, so let me see if there are any questions. What new software has been integrated in the project management industry? Okay, good question. uh, so if you look at the project management industry, there are various PMIS, as they call it, the project management information system type softwares. MS Project is a great example of one such PMIS. Primavera is another example. If you have started to look around, and Monday.com is another new tool that has been introduced in the last few years, I would say. But whenever a new software comes in the project management industry, there's two or three things that we need to look at. And I always give this example of MS Project. Like MS Project is a great tool, but the biggest disadvantage of a tool like MS Project is it is always underutilized in the project management industry. What I mean by underutilized is, uh, if any one of you has been using MS Project for some time, then the typical 2 or 3 uses that we have for the tool is, one is you build your timelines using an MS Project, you do some standard reporting stuff, and then you assign resources, you look at the global resource pool, move people around, do the costing, do the estimates, and that's it. Unfortunately, we are not able to look beyond these kind of features, facilities that the tool brings. The real advantage of using a tool like MS Project is not time tracking, is not making sure that you have the right people assigned to the right task. The real use of a tool like MS Project is actually the forecasting features that it brings. Now, what I mean by forecasting is, in very simple terms, layman's language, if your project has been progressing in a certain fashion between month one, let's say, to month six, and if your project is a 2 year long project, then it will actually generate data. It will actually generate reports for you. Based on those reports, you can take a call that if I progress in the similar fashion for the next 18 months, what is my end going to look like? So those are the kind of forecasting decisions a tool like MS Project generally gives us. And uh, uh, the other tricky part for this is because MS Project is a heavily data oriented tool, which means that if you have to get the best out of a tool like MS Project, then you continuously need to feed data. It has to be real time. It has to be the most recent data that has to be fed into the system. Only then it will give us the integrated decisions that will help us in better forecasting and all of that. So it is basically a give and take uh, when it comes to using the right tool. It's not about which tool you are using, it's what you are trying to do with that tool. As I said, most of the project management activities, or at least whatever I have seen, is doesn't generally go beyond time tracking. You have a schedule, you track your estimated and actual dates, and then you end up finding the variances between the two. But that is, if this is what you need to do at the end of the day, then why switch to an expensive tool like MS Project? You can do the same thing on a simple Excel sheet or a smart sheet. So when you're making a choice for a PM type tool, you need to be able to evaluate what actually you're trying to get from a tool like MS Project or a Monday.com or Primavera, whichever tool you are using. Because again, at the end of the day, if the business is or if you are asking for a tool like MS Project, the business is definitely going to come back and ask you, okay, this tool is costing us X dollars per month or per quarter per year. What is the value that the tool is going to deliver us? And if at the end of it you go and tell your boss that, okay, I've used this tool for time tracking, he says, dude, you don't need a MS Project for time tracking. You could do it on an Excel spreadsheet. So when you're using or uh, deciding on which tool to be used, just don't go because everybody else in the organization is using that tool. It is not the best use of tools like MS Project. So when you are doing, the assessments, the validations and the reasons why you're picking and using those tools, again, all of those things will have to go into the book in a way. Okay, based on the past experience over the decades, what is the one or top three quality that defines a project manager as per PMP? Given we are facing the future, it's good to understand the past, to understand the now, and to apply what critical skills are being promulgated in future for project managers. Okay, great question. Now, here's the thing. If you look at how much is saying is okay. So if you look at the last 10 or 15 years, and if you compare the amount of changes that has happened in those last 10 or 15 years, you'll be surprised to see that the same amount of changes would actually happen in a single year or 2 or 3 years the most. So even at a data level, even if with whatever data we have as of today, it's very hard to forecast where we are actually going in terms of the change management. The big challenge to me for kind of getting adapted to this kind of a changing environment is, one is you continuously need to be aware of first what's actually happening in around your vicinity. And there's a term that I often use is you need to be politically aware of what's happening. And when I say politically aware, it's not about at a government level or what is happening at a global level, but it starts with your project team. It starts with your organization. It starts, and then we keep on expanding the boundaries, and then that's how we build and develop that holistic view. So the holistic view is, again, if you remember a few years back, we had a situation where an ever given or an evergreen boat got stuck in the Suez Canal, and then there was implications on the global supply chain management. So that holistic view is actually going to help us cater to some of the risk or all of the risk on our project. So uh, anticipating the risk is one part of the puzzle. What you do after that is going to be the real game changer. And because we are operating in a such a tentative world right now, the change management is going to be of utmost importance. The skill that we need to have is, one is you should be aware of all the things that are happening. So change management is a complete must. Communication, obviously, it's going to be required anytime, but when I say communication, it's communication that integrates all the focus areas in a way. And then the third one is probably what we have been talking about for a long time, is the value delivery. Is at the end of the day, you should be crystal clear about why an organization is doing a project, what is going to be your value that you will deliver to your business, to the customer business, and then at the end of the day, part of that value will come to you. So as long as you're having that value driven approach, which is definitely going to help you in that business acumen in a way, then you should be able to find ways and deal with the risk. But fortunately or unfortunately, it's not going to happen uh, in silos, which means that all of these things have to come together. You first need to have the information, you first need to have the right tools in which you will be able to assess those risks, those situations, those roadblockers, impediments. You need to feed that data into all your available tools, do a better forecasting, and at the end of the day, you still need to evaluate what kind of value your project or the deliverables that you are working on will deliver to all the value delivery point. So that's how the whole game is all about. The more you work on it, at the end of the day, as I said, it's a mindset shift that we will have to bring uh, to ourselves. As long as we are able to consistently uh, work on those kind of mindset related activities. Mindset, by the way, is very difficult to change. It's not a 1 day or a 2 day thing. It's really going to go down to the hammering level in a way. And then once that is achieved, then you should be able to kind of achieve it to the best of your ability. So all of these things have to come together if we have to meet our objectives at the end of the day. I hope it answers your question, by the way. So thanks for the question. So yeah, those are some of the key takeaways, like how the change is going to impact the way in which the projects will be executed, and how it is going to benefit us as professionals at the end of the day. Um, Now, very quickly, if we have to go through what exactly is going to happen from a PMP exam perspective. So as I said, as from July of this year, the pattern of the exam is going to change slightly. When I say slightly, it's not going to be a massive change in the number of questions that we are attempting. So in today's world, if you're going to go and sit for the PMP exams, you take about 180 questions in 240 minutes. In the newer world, it's going to be 185 questions. So it's not going to be a massive change. What happens though behind the scenes is, out of those 180 questions which you uh, attempt in today's world, 175 questions is what you actually get assessed on. So that 180 is broken up into 175 plus 5. So the actual assessment happens on 175, and then the 5 questions are more like a research type questions, which the PMI uses to evaluate what is the kind of response rate. Is it a very easy question because everyone is answering it correctly? Is it a very difficult question because everyone is answering it wrongly? So all of those assessments and decision points are made for those 5 questions. In the new world, the 185 is now going to look like 175 plus 10. So your number of questions on which you will be assessed still remains 175. That doesn't change. But the number of questions on which PMI is going to make all these decision points is going to increase from 5 to 10. The trick though is, we as exam takers, we don't have an idea of which those 5 or 10 questions are. So when we attempt our exam, all of it has to be like 185 is my final set of questions. So that is what we will be attempting. The other big change, and to me that is a good change, is around the breakup of the questions in each of the three domains. So if you look at the domains, what PMI has done, particularly for the PMP exam, is the 185 questions are divided into people, process, and business. So, originally, as in today's world, the number of questions from people were 42. That 42 has now been dropped to 33 as of 1st of July. Similarly, the number of process domain related questions will drop from 50 to 41. And guess where it'll kind of add is the business environment or the business acumen domain. In today's world, only 8% of those questions were related to the business type scenarios. In the new world, that goes very high to 26%. So from 8, it shoots about more than 3 times to 26%. The advantage for us as exam takers is the business related questions are very, very straightforward. I mean, if you compare it with people or process related questions, if you have a clear objective of what you want to achieve based on the given scenario or situation of the question, you can't go wrong, or the chance of going wrong in a business type question is pretty less. So that's the advantage that we will have as exam takers. There are also one or two new type of questions, I would say, which PMI is trying to introduce. One is a case study type of question. So what I mean by case study is they will give you a scenario, and then there will be about five or six or maybe even eight questions which are related to that particular scenario only. So there could be a maybe one or two case studies that you get. In the current version, we do have case study type questions, but the number of questions related to a particular case study is not as high as eight. Maybe it could be one or two or three at the most, but that could slightly go high, maybe to anywhere between 5 and 8. So that's one change that they have done. The other change which they are sharing is uh, almost all the questions will be scenario based, which still is the case even today. But now what they're emphasizing is everything is going to be scenario based and example based. So if you are extremely lucky on the day of your exam, only then you could get maybe a defined kind of a question, obviously related to a particular scenario. But again, it depends on which day and time you book the exam and all of that. But again, that is something which is beyond us, let's be honest. So um, at the end of the day, all of the questions are going to be scenario based, and as I said, there will be case study type questions which PMI is going to introduce. Those to me are the big changes from an exam pattern kind of perspective. And then uh, at a high level, what they're saying is a lot of questions will be related to, how you make decisions as a leader of the group, or there could be multiple questions where agile is obviously going to be there. More than half of the questions are agile even today, so that's not the change. But it will cover a lot of scenarios between agile and hybrid, or agile and predictive. But agile is going to be the central key in a way. There will be a lot of questions around how do we deal with people. Back to the people domain, it will be slightly a better version of interactive type questions. What I mean by interactive is there will be a particular scenario given, and based on that, you will be asked to comment on what a CPI, SPR, or CVSP could look like. And then they will try and mimic some of the examples that we have seen around us. So they won't take names directly, but obviously, once you read through the scenario, it's pretty obvious for us to find out what exactly these guys are talking about. So these are some of the type of changes that we could expect once the exam switches to the new mode as from 1st of July, and the exam is going to be aligned to the project management body of knowledge version 8. So that's how the PMBOK 8 and the new exam pattern will be put in place. Let me take a look if there are any questions related to the PMP exam or any question on the exams. Okay, nope. So we are good. So those are more from an exam changes point of view. Again, as I said, even though the number of questions between people, process, and business have changed, that to me is not going to have a huge impact on the way we prepare ourselves or the way we are going to go through the material and all of that. At the end of the day, preparation is still going to be the key. The number of questions that you answer during your preparation period is still going to be the key. So those fundamentals, basics still remain the same. If you look at the change from a workshop, the PMP workshop point of view, uh, maybe I can say that in the earlier version or today's version, we had about 6 chapters in a certain fashion. Those 6 chapters are now going to be broken into 12 chapters. The order of the content could be slightly changed. There's not a massive cut down or massive introduction of any new concepts as such. I would say 90-95% of it is by and large the same, but there, as I said, from 6 chapters to 12 lessons, they have changed the sequencing of activities or the way in which they are going to carry out different knowledge areas from start to end could change. That's something that will be slightly different than what we have in today's world. So those are more to me more kind of cosmetic type of changes. Nothing much at a foundation level or a concept level or any impact from a preparation point of view. So that still pretty much remains the same. But yeah, I mean, if you look at it purely from a number of questions and the time that we used to get, so in today's world it was 180 questions to 40 minutes. Now it's going to be 185 to 40 minutes. That's the new change. And what I mean with the new ECO is because the people, process, and domain type of questions or the percentage of those questions have changed, that is now being mapped to a new examination content outline, the ECO document that they have introduced as from January of 2026. So if you want to take a look, just go to pmi.org, log in with your credentials, and then download the ECO. ECO is a free document which is available for all. You do not need to be a member of PMI if you have to download the ECO document. So yeah, that's how we are going to take it. Um Here in Mauritius, we are going to start the new set of workshops from end of April. So April 25, 26, and 2nd and 3rd of May is when we intend to do our first workshop with this new curriculum in a way. So we'll be moving away from the 6 chapters to 12 lessons. So this is our first workshop that we will be conducting with the 12 chapters. If you are interested, you can reach out to Rajesh, whose number and email ID has been given at the bottom of the slide. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Drop him a message, send him an email, drop him a WhatsApp, or call him, and then he'll be more than happy to take your questions. While we transition from the current set of lessons or chapters to new lessons, there is a small window, let's say between today, we are mid-March almost, last week of the month, till say 1st of July. The exam pattern still remains the same. So we are also trying to, come up with different ways and means to support some of our earlier participants if they want to finish up with the exam between now and 1st of July. So if you have any of those kind of queries or questions, do reach out to Rajesh on those as well, and then we'll definitely come back to you with our responses. But you will hear from us very soon about what we are trying to do. So that is what our plan is between now and the 1st of July, where the current exam pattern still remains, and then obviously from 1st of July we switch to the new pattern. And then in order to align with that newer version of the exam, we start with our new set of workshops from end of April. So there's still some time. If you have any questions, reach out to Rajesh, and then we'll be more than happy to step in. Okay, so that is really the end of our deck. For the one PDU, I think you will be getting an email straight with the PDU code, which you can then take and apply on your dashboard, and then you will be getting the benefit of the one PDU. Is there a time limit between taking the workshop and taking the exam? No. So the question is there a time limit between taking the workshop and exam? So the answer is no, even today, even in future. So it could be, as early as you take the exam now, or sorry, take the workshop now and sit for the exam in a month, 2 months. What we generally do though is our recommended approach is you take the workshop, you prepare for about 3 months, you answer as many questions as possible, get exam ready, and then obviously you can take the exam. But we have seen examples in the past where people have sat for the workshop, and in the next 2 3 weeks they have taken the exam and passed the exam as well. So it all depends on what your background is, how much of hardcore project management you've been doing, because at the end of the day it's still applying all the concepts um, to the scenarios that we get in the exam. So that's about it. Are we going to have a certificate for attending this online session? No, there's no certificate as such. But if you are a certified or if you have an active certification, then you will be getting one PDU for this session, which you can claim on the PMI portal. But there's no certificate for attending this online session. When is the next PMP certification training being held? The answer is this. So the next batch is going to be April 25, 26 and May the 2nd and 3rd. So those two consecutive weekends is when we will be doing the workshop, the next workshop in Mauritius. So do reach out to the numbers and emails that are flashing on your screen, and you should be able to get a response from us. Okay, so that was a great question. Any other question? I'm just doing a time check. We've got 3 more minutes, so if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the chat box. The ProThoughts team, the FINanotech team, and we'll be more than happy to come back and help you with your questions, queries, and hopefully we should be able to clarify those. So if you're going to attend our next workshop, so see you in the next workshop. If not, then we'll catch up sometime soon if you're in Mauritius. So thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in.